In this lab session, we are going to discuss the fifth program in our lab record list, which is to display or retrieve all the contacts from the contacts app of your phone and display it in our app. Okay. Not only that, we are going to see a little bit more concepts which are required. Okay. I've discussed that in the previous 2 or 3 classes. Number one is what is a content provider. Okay, that concept we have to see very carefully. Okay, we are going to see what is a content provider, how do you get a content from another app. Okay, a data is stored in one app and I'm going to retrieve that data from one app and display it in this app. Okay, for that that app, the one which is sharing data, should be a content provider, and we will be using a content resolver to query that data. Okay, please note the 2 words what I said. Content provider is the app which provides the content, and we will be calling something called as content resolver to find out how to query that particular content provider. That's what I'm going to do today. Okay, and yesterday in the class I had talked about 3 keywords. If you remember, I'll just recollect that. Contract, first one, and then common data kinds, and then phone. Okay, inside that you have all relevant information. So let's begin. So before even we begin this program, let's understand one thing. You are trying to access data from one app in another. Okay, there is a contacts app here. Let me just open that. Okay, I've added on 3 or 4 contacts here. You can see this is the contacts app, guys. Okay, any phone you will have this kind of a simple contacts app will be there inbuilt. You can add more if you want. Okay, let me just click on add to create a new contact. You see that it is saving to the device. You can see this here. It is saving to the device because by default your device is the storage, and the device storage is SQLite. So it's practically unlimited. Okay, so you can store any number of contacts. You have first name, last name, you have phone number, what type of phone number it is, email, what type of email it is. Okay, like that, lot of fields are there. Okay, it might not be the same in all the phones, but you see that this is generally available. So much information is available, but in your SIM card it is not possible. Only one is possible, but you can see that this is the design what a normal Android operating system gives you. You have a profile picture, you have all these things, you have save button. What is this right now? This is a option menu. Okay, when I long press on a particular contact, what I get here is called a contextual menu. Okay, so I'll be doing these kind of things in this class. All right, so remember that. So I have a database here. I want to access this database in my app. That's what I'm trying to do. In your phone, you will have actually a lot of contacts. Okay, and all those contacts, I'm going to retrieve it into the app and show it to you. So first of all, you should know that this contacts app is running in one building, and my app which I'm creating right now is running in another building. They cannot access directly. So what will be my first step? Get permission. So let's do that. I think by now you're familiar with how to get a permission. What permission do I need in this app? Reading contacts. I need to read the contacts of the phone. So let me go to the manifest. First step. Okay, do not forget this step. Okay, it is essential. Even if you're targeting the latest version of Android, this is compulsory. One, use this permission. What permission do you want? I want permission to read contacts. Okay, that's it. My first step is done to get permission. I hope you know how to get permission. So I'm not going to explain the code in detail, but revise your previous programs to understand what I'm writing here. Okay. One, read contacts. Then come back to my program. Let me first get the permission. So I'm going to check whether the permission is already granted in onCreate. So I'm going to write if check self permission. From the manifest, call a permission called read contacts. If it is not equal to granted, okay, if it is not equal to permission granted, then do something. So this code, again, it will only work in Marshmallow and above. So let me just surround it with an if condition. Okay, and what about versions lesser than this? The first step what I did, this is more than enough. Okay, that's all. Let me come here and request the permission. So let's request permissions. And what is the permission I'm looking for? And it is permissions, plural. So I need to create a new string array. Okay, what permission? Manifest dot permission dot read contacts. That's the permission I want you to request, and there's a request code required. So I'm going to just put contact underscore request. I'll just create a constant value with that capital letters. Okay, so if I see that, it will say create a constant field. Let me just create it. Let it be an integer, and what number? Let me just give some number. Okay, I normally give 128, 256, 512 like that you give. Okay, doesn't matter. I leave it to you guys what you give here. Okay, so I've requested permission. Now, what if the permission is already granted? This code will not get executed at all. If the permission is already granted. If it is not granted only, I will come here and request the permission. Okay, now let me come out of the onCreate and say on request permissions result. Okay, if at all you have clicked on that, what will be the result of that? Okay, so I think you would have seen some errors here. Let me remove that not null thing. I just want non-null. That's enough. I just want to make sure that the data which passes or which comes here should never hold null values. It should have some data. Okay, that's why we are asserting it using this annotation. Okay, but anyway, that's not important. Let's move on. Okay, so on request of this particular permissions result, I'll be getting the request code. I'll be getting what and all permissions you requested and what is the answer to all those permissions. Okay, everything will be passed to me as arrays. So let me just write a simple if condition. If contact request, okay, or if the request code, what is coming to me through this method is equal to contact request. Okay, I can do like this. So whatever contact request I gave, if it is the same thing which is coming back to me, okay, then I'm going to check one more condition. If grants result of 0 is equal to package manager dot, sorry, permission granted. If it is equal to granted, do something else, do something else. Okay, so I'm just going to put toast, guys, nothing else, just to show that I've taken the information. Or I'll just say contacts permissions granted. That's all I'm going to put if you are granting it first time only. Okay, once you have granted it the first time, never this will come into your picture anymore. Okay, once the app has been installed and you have given the permission the first time, anymore this question will not come to you at all. Okay, so let's not bother about it. Let's come to the next toast. Okay, so in case you are clicking on deny. Okay, if you have clicked on deny, there is no point in writing this program. My entire program is to read contacts. If I'm not allowed to read the context, then there's no point in this program itself, isn't it? So I'm going to say permission denied, exiting the app. Okay, I'm going to say permission denied, exiting app. That's all I'm going to put. Okay, and then next time I'm going to say this dot finish, which means close or destroy this activity. If you have destroyed this activity, nothing else is going to happen. That's all. Okay, I hope you follow this, right? So this is the request part. First step is done. So as soon as you run the program for the first time, I'm going to ask, check whether the permission is granted. The first time you run, the permission will not be granted. So this code will get executed. When this code is executed, this will be the result of that. Okay, and the result, if I'm seeing if you have clicked on allow, I'll just show you allow and I'll continue. Nothing else to do here. But if you have clicked on deny, this program does not make sense, because my entire purpose of this program is to read contacts and you have denied the permission. So I'm going to exit the app. That's all. If you run this again, I'll go back and check whether the permission is granted. And if it is granted, no problem. Otherwise, again, I'll ask you to give me the permission. Okay, so all these things are the same as the previous one. Only thing there I wrote receive SMS, read SMS. Here I'm changing the permission which I'm requesting, but the code you see looks exactly the same. Okay, that's why I said any permission you can ask only if you know one permission. One permission if you know how to get that properly, remaining everything is the same. So whichever program you require permission, this is the format you are supposed to follow. This is the simplest format I found, guys. You will find a lot of other formats online. Okay, but don't get confused. This is the base model. Okay, this is enough to understand whether you have clicked on yes or no. That's all. So I've got the permission. What is my next step? Okay, only if I get my permission, my program will still keep running. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to keep this one minimized. Okay, I'll write another method. Okay, all methods what I'm writing, I'm going to keep it minimized so that the program does not look complicated. On create alone, I'll keep it as it is for now. Okay, now I'm going to write another method which will actually display the contacts. Okay, but then I want to write a separate method because I want to call it whenever I want. So I'm going to create public void display contacts. I'm going to create a method like this, display contacts. Okay, now before even we move on to the code which we are supposed to write here, let me also recollect what and all we saw as the core Java part, what we require. Okay, so let me go to the global variable declaration place and declare some things globally which is required in my app. Okay, number one, if you remember the slides yesterday, I told you that phone number and name. That's all I want. I want the name of the contact, phone number of the contact. So how will you store what? Data type will you store the name and phone number? String. So I'm going to create two strings. One is name. I'll just name it as contact underscore name. One I'll name it as contact underscore number. Okay, now if you might ask why I'm storing number also in a string is because in your contacts database in your phone, okay, phone numbers normally have +91. or +61. Okay, depends on which country we belong, but then that plus will be there in the number itself. So you cannot store the number strictly as a number or integer or a long or a double. Okay, you have to store it as a string. Then you process it based on what is required. Okay, sometimes you see that toll-free numbers have one hyphen in between. Some people put it within brackets. Some three numbers will be put in brackets, etc., etc. So to avoid that confusion, we keep everything as string. It's not like I've decided it this, guys. Okay, it's developers have kept it like string, so I'm following it as a string. Okay, so two things. Number one. Number two, I need to take all these, one contact means combination of these two, isn't it? Okay, a combination of a name and a number belongs to one contact. So I'm going to create a hash map. I think I've discussed this yesterday in the class. Please remember that. When you type, you see there is an option coming k comma v. What is k and what is v? Key comma value. Okay, so what type of key and what type of value? My key is going to be a string. My value is also going to be a string. Okay, so I'm going to name this as hash map of contacts. Okay, I'm not instantiating anything. I'm just creating, initializing everything. I'll take them whenever it's required. Please note I'm creating them globally so that I can access it anywhere I want. Okay, first thing. After creating a hash map, okay, one hash map will only represent two data. One is name equal to something, number equal to something. This I have to put it inside another list because I'm going to show this in a list view. So I'm going to create an array list. So I'm going to create an array list, okay, of what? Array list of hash map of string comma string. I hope you follow, right? I'm going to take please note, I'm going to take the name and number from the database and put it inside a hash map. And then I'm going to put this hash map inside an array list. Okay, so I'll name this as contacts so that there's no confusion. This is the actual contacts database. Okay, now I need somewhere to put this contacts, right? That is why I use a list view in my design. So let me go to my design. There's already a hello world. Let me delete that. Okay, and constraint layout is there. I'll convert that view. Please note there's an option called convert view. I'll convert that view to a linear layout and apply. So now I have a linear layout. Inside that, I'm going to go to legacy and choose a list view. Please note, only for the first few classes, I'll be using legacy controls because they are simple. Later, I'll be changing it to recycler view, which is kind of the containers. You see, there is a recycler view here. This is the one which you're supposed to use anymore. Okay, but since just to understand how old codes work also, I'm using list view for the first few programs. Later, I'll change it into recycler view. Okay, let me just put a list view. Now here you see a small preview of how a list view should look like. Okay, when I do that in a constraint layout, you won't get a preview, but in a linear layout, you get a preview. So that's why I'm showing it here. Okay, so here you have a list view and it is too close to the border, isn't it? So let me just click on that and let me just first name this list view. I'll put it as LV contacts, a list view for contacts. Then I'll also add some extra things like margin. Okay, so that they don't touch the border directly. So I'll just put 10 dp as the margin so that they come little bit away. I hope you can see this now. And there is no much gap between the items itself. So what I'm going to click on, and I'm going to see something called as divider. Okay, there's a small line coming in the middle, right? Okay, so that is what they have given here, a divider and the height of the divider. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the divider transparent. Okay, so let me just make the divider transparent so that I don't see a line in the middle. If you want, you can keep the line as it is, but I'm just going to keep it as transparent. Background light transparent. I'll click on OK, and the divider's height I'll give it as, let's say, 5 or 10. How much ever you gap you want between these things, you can give them as much as you want. The space between each and every item, I've just given a bigger space so that it's visible neatly. That's all. Okay, so my list view part is done. My design part, only this much I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else. Okay, so let me go back to the code. So let me just first create an object of that list view, what I put in the design. So I'll just name it as contacts list view. Okay. I think this is enough right now. Let me go to the code part. Okay, so as soon as the list view has been initialized globally, let me instantiate it as soon as this code is done. So first let me check the permission. After the permissions are okay, then I'll say list view, contacts list view. Okay, is equal to find view by id r.id.lv contacts. Done. So now I have assigned it. So my program is now familiar with the list view which is there in the design. All I need to do is manipulate or populate the data which is there in the list view. Okay, how do I do that? First, fetch the data from the database of contacts and put them in contact name and contact number. Put those two inside a hash map and take this hash map and put it inside an array list. Okay, and then convert or use an adapter to get the list of data to a list view. Okay, that's what we discussed. All these we discussed in the yesterday's class. Please do revise that if you don't understand what I'm typing right now. Okay, let me go to the small method which we had created. As soon as you call this display contacts, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize the array list. Okay, so let me call the array list. Array list is nothing but contacts. I've named it as just contacts is equal to new array list. Okay, array list of what? Just press control space there. Your system will understand what you're doing. It'll just give you a suggestion of hash map string comma string. I've just initialized instantiated this contacts array list, which I initialized globally. Now the contacts list is ready. Now what am I supposed to do? Okay, I'm supposed to query the contacts app of my phone. How do I do it? Okay, before I even move to that, you should also understand I am supposed to call a content resolver. Please note, this app is not the content provider. I am trying to explain how to utilize a content provider. Okay, so who's the content provider in my program? Contacts app. Okay, so what am I trying to do? I'm trying to resolve the content. Okay, so I'm going to call, I'm not writing the proper code. I'm just showing you what I'm saying. I'm going to say get content resolver. From that, you are going to query. Okay, that's all. You're just going to call something called get content resolver in my program and then query. What is that query returning? Cursor. I've also told this in the last class. Okay, please remember that. Now, what is cursor? It is equivalent to the result set in JDBC if you have worked with JDBC before. Okay, what is result set? A set of results which come from a database. So what is a cursor? Cursor is a collection of records which is there from the query of your contacts database. Okay, so I'm going to store it in a cursor object. So let's create that cursor also if you want globally. Okay, so let me create a cursor object. I'm going to say cursor. Let me just name it as cursor and keep it there. Okay, and let me instantiate it locally. How? Cursor is equal to get content resolver dot query. That's all you're supposed to query. Now, what am I supposed to pass first? Okay, the parameter first, what I'm supposed to pass is what am I supposed to query? Please note, it is asking for a URI. Okay, where am I supposed to query? That's the biggest question I have. Where am I supposed to query for this particular contacts database or contacts table? Okay, that I do not know, because I don't know which phone you are using. So that is why I brought those three keywords yesterday. If you remember, let me bring them here now. Contacts contract. I hope you can get that class there. It belongs to Android.provider. Contacts contract. Okay. Second keyword was common data kinds. If you remember that. Yesterday I've discussed this. Please do revise that. Last one is phone. Okay. These three are the keywords which I want to look for. And using that, I'm going to say get the contents URI. Simple. Okay, this does not care which phone you are using, any phone for that sake, because we are all following the same contract. If I call this line, I'll get where to query or how to find my contacts database, SQL database in the contacts app. Very simple. Nine. Remaining three, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 operations are there. None of that I'm passing. I just want to query. Select star from table name. So I'm going to just pass 4 null objects. I don't want anything else. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying I don't have any specific query to be, I want select star from table name. No projection, no selection argument, no sorting order. I just wanted as it is, how it is stored in my phone. Okay, that's all. I hope this is clear. So I've got everything into the cursor. So what have I done? Okay, let me just keep the code once again there. All I've typed is this much, guys. Get content resolver dot query. Pass the content URI from this keyword which we have already discussed yesterday, and remaining operations I said no, nothing is there. Just retrieve everything. Basically what I've done is select star from table name, the contact table, store it in cursor. Okay, so cursor is nothing but like a result set. So how do you go through each and every result set? While rs.next result set object, as long as the result set object has the next record, keep looping, because I don't know how many contacts you have. Okay, some phones have 100 contacts, some phones have 1000, some phones have 500, like that. A lot of contacts are there. So I'm not going to write a for loop, because in order to know the for loop, I need to know how many contacts are stored. But I'm rather writing a while loop because I don't care how many contacts you have. As long as there are contacts, go through the loop. So how do I say? Cursor dot move to next. Please note the method. In result set, you just write result set dot next. Here it says, as long as the cursor is able to move to the next record. Okay, that's all. Let's say, for example, this is a Word document, guys. Okay, just say the cursor is right now here. Okay, how much can you read? As long as the cursor can go to the next line. Please note, I'm just going to the next line. This is a literal cursor. Okay, I'm just going to the next line. How much can I travel? I can travel to the last record. So after this, I'm pressing the down button, but I'm not able to go below because I'm not able to go to the next line. Okay, since the cursor is not able to go to the next line, this is the last line of my code, which means all the records have been retrieved. I hope you got it, right? So now let me go back inside the cursor. What am I supposed to do? Okay, if you guys remember, result set dot what after you say rs dot next, how would you get the data? You will say rs dot get string or rs dot get int. Like that you will be writing. Now I am going to write rs dot get string because both are string in my case. So I have already created the variable called contact name and contact number. Let me pull them here. Please note, since I'm writing it inside a while loop, every time the loop runs, a new value will be assigned. Let's say, for example, contact name, that's a string, is equal to, from where will you get the name of the contact? Okay, I'll cut it from the cursor. Simple. I'll say cursor dot get string. Now I want you to be very much focused on the parameter which I'm supposed to pass and what will I get in return. If I say get string, I have to pass the column index, which is an integer, to this method and it will return a string. Okay, I don't know the column name. Please remember, yesterday I showed that diagram. There is no column name as such. It is just data 1, data 2, data 3. I don't know in which data 1 did you store your name. In data 2 you have stored your phone number. I do not know that. So we have a contract. Okay, so I do not know the column index. I don't know which column did you store it in. If I don't know which column, how will I know which number? Okay, so I don't know the column index also. So I'll just put this and keep right now. Okay, so what am I supposed to pass? I'm supposed to pass an integer. I hope you can notice that here. I'll repeat it again. Get string takes only one. It requires an integer, which will be the column's index. Okay, column index, how it will start? 0, 1, 2, 3, like that it will start. Okay, so I do not know which column you have stored the phone, name of the user. Okay, next I'll be taking the phone number. How will I get it? Again, the same person on the top. Contacts contract. Okay, but you cannot just get the name. Name will be a string, but I want to get the column name. So I'm going to say cursor dot get column name. Okay, I'm looking for an integer, so I'll say column index. Okay, for if you want to get the column index, what should you know? You should know the column name. Okay, so if you want to get the column index, you should know the column name. If you get the column name, you can get the column index. If you can get the column index, you can get the value which is stored there. Please note, it's nested. So that is why I'm repeating it. I'll repeat it once again once I finish this code, but just follow this, guys. From the cursor, you are trying to get the name of the user. Okay, where is the name stored? The name is stored inside the table in some column. I don't know what is the column name. I don't know the column index. So what my system is telling is, if you could get the column index, I'll get the value from that column and show it to you. But how do I get the column index? Okay, if I know the column name. Do I know the column name? No, I don't know. But I have to come to an agreement that everybody will follow the same thing, right? So I'm going to call contacts contract dot common data kinds dot phone dot display underscore name. This will be the name of my column in every phone. Okay, please note, this is also coming from the same keyword which we have discussed yesterday. Okay, display name is coming, and if you get the name, I can get the column index. If I can get the column index, I can get the corresponding name which is stored in the database. That's all. Same thing I'm going to write once again below for contact number. Okay, is equal to cursor dot get string, cursor dot get column index, contacts contract dot common data kinds dot phone dot number. That's it. At this point of time, what have I done? Okay, let's say in my phone's contact. Okay, the first contact is I think Anand. Okay, Anand. Okay, so what is the name of this particular contact? Anand. What is the phone number? Is this particular number? Okay, so display name will be Anand and number will be that number what I showed you. Okay, so how do I get that from the table? Okay, all I've done right now at this point of time in the while loop, the first time the while loop is running, it has only retrieved Anand's contact details, nothing else. Okay, remaining people are still waiting because it's, I'm talking about the first time the while loop runs. Okay, now let's go to the next step. I'm supposed to create a hash map with the name and the phone number. Let me do that. So I've already created a hash map on the top in the global variable. I'm going to just instantiate that hash map. Okay, I'm going to say instantiate hash map. What data type? String comma string. Suggestion already is there. I'm going to just use it. That's it. By the way, note where I'm typing this. I'm writing it inside a while loop, which means every time the while loop runs, this contact name will be new, number will be new, this also will be new. Every time the loop runs, you'll be creating a new record. Please remember that. Okay. Now, all I'm supposed to do is add that to the hash map. I'll just say put hash map dot put what key and value. Let me create a key called cname. You know what is that? It is nothing but the contact name. Okay, second one, hash map contacts dot put. Second one, I'm going to put cphno phone number. I'll just put phno. Okay, and I'll say this is the contact number. Now, please note what has happened in this hash map. I have two details: name, value, name, value. Okay, so this hash map is now right now only representing one contact, but it has two data. So what am I supposed to do? Okay, last line, I'll just give a space between everything so that you can categorize them what is happening. I'll call that array list, which is nothing but contacts dot add hash map of contacts. Done. Please note that while loop, guys, you should be able to understand what is happening there. Okay, first of all, you have queried all the data from the contacts app of your phone using the content resolver and the common data kinds content URI. Okay, so it gives you a URI by which you can resolve the data which comes from the contacts app and store it in the cursor. So I'm now what I'm writing doesn't belong to Android Java, it rather belongs to core Java. While cursor.move to next, get the data from this particular column and store it in contact name or contact number, and then take this and put it inside the hash map, and then take this hash map and put it inside the contacts list. I hope you got this. I've explained this in theory in the last class. Same thing, I'm doing it in practical. That's all. Okay, so while loop is done. Now, what am I supposed to do next? I have everything in my data. All I need to do is to create two things. One, the list view that I have already done. List view has already been mapped and it is proper. All I need to do is the data, what is supposed to be in that list view. Okay, that is also ready, which is contacts. So at the end of this while loop, what will happen? Just let's go through one by one, guys. Let's see how this happens here. Okay, so this is my contact. This is only 4 records are there, so it's easy to understand. While cursor dot move to next, where will the cursor be in the beginning? Cursor will not be pointing to any of this contact. Cursor will be on the top. Okay, in the database I'm talking about, but I'm showing it here in the app. Cursor will be on the top. So first I'm telling move to next. I come to this. Okay, so since I've been able to move, I'll retrieve the record of Anand. Okay, so name will be Anand, number will be whatever is the number there, and that will be put inside a hash map. So this one hash map is now representing two data, but one contact. Okay, name and phone number. Now that is there in that, and I've added it to array list of contacts. Okay, so contacts right now has only Anand's record. Now, again, while loop runs, it says, is it possible to move the cursor to the next record? Yes, it is possible because I've now moved to Balaji. So contact name will be that, contact number will be his number, and I'll add it and I'll again go. I'll reach C, okay, and then I'll reach D. When I reach D, I'll be doing this work, I'll come out, and then I go to the cursor. While I'm in D, I'm moving the cursor to the next line. I'm not able to move, so I'll come out. So I have only 4 records, I'll be showing only 4 details. And after that 4 contacts have been gone through, what am I supposed to do? Okay, now I need a bridge between the contacts list view and the contacts array list. Please note, list view and the array list. I want a bridge between them. What should I do? I should use an adapter. So I'll not write it inside the while loop, guys. Please note, this while loop is only manipulating the data into contacts. That's all. Now I'm going to create a simple adapter object. Let me create an object of simple adapter. Okay, and I'll tell you what are the parameters you're supposed to pass. Look at that. What are the suggestions I'm getting? Number 1, where? Context. Okay. Number 2, what do you want me to display? All right. Number 3, how do you want me to display? And then number 4, since you have more data, from where to where. I'll explain each and everything one by one. Let's start with the first record. Okay, first what parameter is expecting from us? Context. Context is this class. Simple. Second one, do you have a list of data which extends from map or hash map or something like that? Yes, I have. What is that list name? Contacts. You can see that. That's my list's name. Array list. I'm going to put that. Second one, how do you want to display it? The third one, sorry. Third one, how do you want to display it? Okay, if you remember, I have not created a design to display my list view. For Fibonacci, I used an inbuilt list view layout. Here also, I'm going to use an inbuilt because there's no much data to display, only name and number. So I'm going to use android.r. Please note, if I write android.r, it does not belong to my project. It belongs to the systems project. Okay, so I'll say android.r.layout. And I'm looking for a layout which can display 2 lines, like how you see here in the design. I want item 1 should be the name of the contact. Sub item 1 should be the number of the contact. This is what I want. Okay, so how do I do that? I'll just call the layout and say, see whether I have something which displays 2-line list item. I want 2 lines. First line should have the name, second line should have the number. So I'm going to call that. And by the way, did I create this? No, because it says android.r. So I'm using an inbuilt way. Okay, so I'm saying how to display the data. Next one. Okay, from and to. Why there is, please note here is the, let me just show it once again. Just notice that, guys, I'm supposed to pass 2 parameters anymore. One is a string array, another one is an integer array. Look at what is that string array and what is the integer array. String array says from where. Okay, what data do you want to display on what? Okay, like for example, I would like to display the name in item 1 and I would like to display the number in sub item 1. Okay, how do I make sure that those 2 items, okay, those, since you have mentioned 2 line, I also need to tell you what are those 2 lines contain. So I'm going to write a new string array. Okay, and within that I'm going to pass, okay, I hope that's visible. I'll just scroll. Okay, so this is a lengthy line, okay, but still I think you can make it out. This parameter I'm going to tell what are the two string keys. Okay, keys. I want the keys. What are the keys? Not contact name and contact. These are values. CNAME and CPHNO. This is the keys. So I'm going to only pass those 2 here. CNAME, that's the first key. Second key is CPHNO, contact phone number. That's my 4th parameter, string from. Next one, you see, it's looking for an integer array to where. Where do you want me to display these 2 values? What you get? Okay, please note it looks, it gives you a small hint. It is the ID of the resource. Okay, since you did not create this, how will you get the ID of the first label and the second label? This is one label, the second one is a label, right? Because you cannot modify anything, you can only read it. So these are basically labels. So how do I get that? I'll just create a new int array because it's expecting an integer array. Okay, so what will I pass to that int array? First one. Okay, where do you want me to display the name? I wanted to display it in android.r.id. Now please note, normally I just use r.id. But here I've written android.r.id. Okay, text1 and text2. Can you see that? Text1 means the first label. Text2 means the second label. Simple. So I'll write android.r.id.text2. That's it. This is the adapter. Okay, it looks like a lengthy code, but if you understand it, it's basically simple, guys. I'll repeat this once again. Listen carefully. Adapter is created. Why? Because I need to create a bridge between a contacts, which is an array list, and to a list view, which is an Android list view. Okay, so how do I bridge them both? I use a simple adapter. Okay, to create a simple adapter, I need to pass some parameters. The first parameter is the context, which is nothing but this class itself. Second parameter is the list of data, the array list. Okay, so that I passed. Third parameter is how do you want to display it? Okay, I used android.r because I don't want to create a layout for this simple program. I'm using an inbuilt layout, android.r.layout, which has 2-line list item. If there is 2 lines, each line has a label. Okay, you need to make sure that the first label has some data, second label has some data. Okay, so what will be the key which I need to look for in the first line and the second line? Okay, I'm passing 2 string keys. Okay, which is nothing but which holds the name and number. Okay, last one, this is the data which is coming from. Where do you want to display it? Okay, you need to map CNAME to the first label and phone number to the second label. So I'm writing int array, new int array, android.r.id.text1. Okay, which will be the first line, and text2 will be the second line. That's why it's 2 line. Okay, that's it. This is an adapter. Next line is very simple. Call the list view, which is nothing but contacts list view, I guess. Contact list view dot set adapter to this adapter what I just created. Done. That's it. Okay, so this code is enough to bring your contacts list, but please note I created as a separate method. I've never called it anywhere. Since I've not called it, nothing will be displayed. So let me call it in the on create. Okay, I'm making a mistake here purposely so that I can show you what is the problem. Let me just show display contacts. That's it. So as soon as your permission has been granted, I'm going to call display contacts, which will call this block of code, and it will show all the contacts which are there in my phone in the app which I right now deploying. Let me just run the program, and in the meanwhile, I'll just tell you while the program is running and it's getting installed, I want you to remember one thing. I've called it in on create. Be very careful of the life cycle, guys. Okay, I've called on create. When will on create be called? Only the first time this activity is getting called. Now, what if I open the activity and show some contacts to you, and then I went to the contacts app. Okay, I did not destroy this activity. I just went directly to the home button and I clicked on contacts app and I added a new contact. Then I opened this activity once again. Will I be able to see that new contact? No. Why? Because you did not recreate your activity. Your activity once created will never be called. This code which you have written here will never be called till you destroy this activity and open it once again. Remember that, very, very important that is. Okay, practically where do you use this life cycle? Here you see I put it inside on create, which means next time you destroy and call this activity once again only I'll refresh. Otherwise you will not see any new updates in my app. I hope this is clear. Okay, so this is very essential to understand. I hope the code is not so difficult for you to follow. Let me see how the program is running. Now my app has to get installed in this phone, and the first question obviously, because I've requested permission, should be allow this particular lab record 5 program to access your contacts. Let me not click on deny. You know what will happen. Let me just click on allow. Okay, and after that permissions is granted. Now my app is displaying those 4 contacts which I have in my phone in my app. Please note I am able to access these records in my app. Okay, how did I get that? Using a content, because the contacts is a content provider. I used a content resolver and queried that data which was available in my phone, and I fetched them one by one, added to a hash map, added to a contacts list. Okay, now I'm able to see my data. I am seeing my contacts record here. Okay, the name of the contact as well as the number of the contact. It's displayed in a neat format here. All right, so my retrieval is done with the help of a content resolver. Please remember that a content resolver queries your database of the contacts app and then displays your results here. I hope this is clear. Okay, so first part is done. If you have any questions, please do ask. Okay, otherwise we'll proceed with this program to understand a little bit more concepts. Any questions? Okay, I'll proceed. We'll take questions towards the end of the class. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do right now here is the list of lab records are coming. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click on home button. Okay, please note only 4 records were there. I'm going to open contacts app now. I'm going to add one more record. Let me add a new contact to my phone. I'll just name it as Eugene. Some number I'll give. Okay, that's it. Click on save. Now I've saved this particular person's record also. Okay, so now there are 5 records in my database. Okay, let me just come back to my app. Let me open my app now. Am I seeing that new record which I added? No. Can you understand why? Okay, why? Because you have written this display contacts. You are calling this display contacts method only on create. Right now, since I did not destroy my activity, on create was not called. Only on start, on resume, all those things were called. On restart was called. Okay, let me just now destroy this activity by pressing the back button. Now this activity is destroyed. Let me open that lab record 5 once again. Now I'm able to see the new record because you have called that only on create. I hope this is clear to you guys, right? So how do I fix this? I don't want this every time I have to refresh my or destroy my activity and open it again. But rather, whenever I come to this activity, I should see the recently used or recently available contacts here. How do I do it? Don't write it in on create, delete it. Okay, where should I write it? Write it in on resume. Done. When will on resume be called? Whenever you are calling, whenever your app is getting resumed in this screen, it will call the display contacts and give you the latest fetched information. Okay, I hope this is clear. Let me just run the program once again and check with one more record. Okay, so now I'm installing that app once again, but now please note, when is display contacts called? It is called only on resume, not on create. Whenever, when and all will this on resume be called? Whenever you're coming back to your activity, on resume will be called. So let me just wait. Let the program run. Please note, now and all, you will not get any contact information or permission asked because it's already given. My app already has permission, so I'll not ask once again. Now let me just go back to the contacts app. Okay, I'm going to the contacts app. Now please note, what and all has been called on my apps activity. On pause, on stop has been called. Okay, remember that. Now let me add a new record. Okay, so I'll just add a new information here. Okay, I'll just add another phone number. Click on save. Now I've saved a new contact information. Okay, so that is also being stored. Okay, let me just go back to my app and see whether that new contact is also displayed in the recent one here. Since I called it on resume, without even destroying my activity, I'm still able to see the latest available contacts in my phone. Okay, I hope this is clear to you guys. All right, so contacts app is done, but please note, it is not my target. My target here is the content provider itself and the content resolver. Okay, I hope this is clear to you guys, right? So that is the first part of our program, to understand content provider and content resolver. So did I write the content provider code? No. These people who created the contacts app has written that particular code. Okay, this app, whoever is created, has written that app as a content provider. I am just in my app trying to be the content resolver and querying this database and fetching that here. Okay, the same thing is happening in SMS also. If you, for example, if I go to SMS app, okay, and whatever contacts I have will be showed here also. For example, if I try to send a message, let me start a chat. Okay, when I'm trying to start a chat, you see that all contacts are coming here. How did I get these contacts here? Because the contacts app is a content provider and this SMS app is now a content resolver. Okay, it's trying to read the contacts information and store it or show it here in your own app. I hope this is clear. Okay, let me move on to the next concept which I want you to discuss. Okay, in the last class I discussed two more things. Menu. Okay, in this class I am going to use two types of menu. I think that much time we'll have. Two types of menu. One is option menu, another one is context menu. If time permits, I'll take a pop-up menu, but we'll keep that aside. But the two major important thing is options menu and context menu. Two things we'll see. Also action bar and contextual action bar. Two things we have to see. All right, so before even I go to the code part of it, let's see what I mean about this. Okay, now for example, this is the SMS app, guys. Just have a note. Okay, this is the SMS app. What you see here, this is the action bar. It is transparent there, but you see that the title of my app is here. This is called the app bar, or right now it's called as the action bar. There is a menu here, the search icon here, and then you see when I click on this, you get some more messages. Okay, what are these things? These are options. Okay, but it is not specific to one of these chats. This is general to all the chats or all the SMS what you have in this particular app. Okay, please remember that this is one app, and this what you see here without even selecting anything. As soon as you open this app, okay, as soon as I open a particular app, like for example, I think we better take, I think Gmail and all, I have to set it up. Okay, so I think it's better not to use that. I'll just use SMS itself. Okay, so let me go to SMS. You see, as soon as I open this SMS app, on the top, what you see here, this is called as an options menu. It's always available. It is not specific to one of your chats. Okay, it is always available. Check the same thing in your WhatsApp or Gmail also, it will be the same. Okay, so as soon as you open your app without even selecting anything, if you get some choices here, these are called as options menu. All right, and the three dotted button just shows, because there are so many options, I can't put everything in this action bar itself. So we are keeping it as a hidden one. You can open whenever you require and access this. You would have seen this in almost all the apps. So what are these menus? What you see here, these are all option menu. Okay, these are all option menus. Now, I'm going to long press on a particular chat, guys. Just notice this. I'm going to long press on a particular chat. What happened to the same action bar? Okay, the name went off. There is no name. I can't see the project name. The project name is messages, but I'm not able to see the app's name. I'm able to see an X mark and how many records I've chosen. Then there are some more choices coming. Okay, archive, delete, add to contacts. Okay, block that person. I don't know what that means, but when I see the icon, I'm able to understand what it means. Okay, what is this then? This menu, what you get here is not options. This is a contextual menu. Why is it set contextual? Because based on your clicking, it changes. I hope you can see that, right? Based on how many records you have selected, based on your selection, those options change. So those are also menu, but they are contextual menu, because here I get this, in some other app I get, and if I choose more than one record, I get some other option. Based on the context, if your menus are changing, then it is a contextual menu. Okay, without depending on anything, if the menus are available, then these are options menu. I hope this is clear to you guys. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to do in this app, what we have created also. So let's do that first. Okay, so what I want, before even I go to the program itself, let me explain what I'm looking for in this app. Okay, right now I have contacts here. I don't want to go to the contacts app, closing my app and then going there. I just want to directly link. I want a small option here saying that add contact. Okay, I want a small option menu here which will say add contact. When I click on it, I want to go to the contacts app to add a new app. Okay, new contact. I hope this is clear. This is what I want as an options menu. Secondary, what I want is when you long click on a particular contact which is here, I want two choices coming here to call and send an SMS to that particular person. Okay, from my app itself. This is my target for today, guys. If I finish that, then we'll stop. Okay, but let's see how to do this. First, let's start with a simple one. How do I add a menu, an options menu? Okay, let's do that first. Whether it is an options menu or a contextual menu, you have to create a menu. And yesterday's class, I discussed and I told you that menus are normally not written in code, rather they are done in XML. So let me go to the XML part of my program and search for a folder called menu. Do you have a folder called menu? No. But yesterday in the slide I told it's there in resources/menu folder, but I'm not able to find that menu folder. Let's create one. So let me right click and on the resources folder, say new Android resource directory, because I want to create a folder to store all my menu. So I'm going to click on Android resource directory, and type of resource from the drop down, I'm going to change it to menu. That's all. Okay, the directory name will be menu. Let me click on OK. So there is a menu resource folder created. Let me right click on that folder and create a new menu resource file. Please notice the words, guys, what I've used. I've created a new resource directory, Android resource directory called as menu. And inside that, I'm creating a new menu resource file. Let me click on that. It'll ask you what is the file name. I'm going to name it exactly what I'm trying to do here. Next program onwards, I'll give relevant names, but just for your understanding, I'm putting options underscore menu so that you know this is the options menu. Let me click on OK. So design will come. There is no code for this, guys, only design, which is nothing but XML. Okay, there's no Java file relevant to it. Okay, you can see that I have a menu root element. You can also see the code if you want. Menu is the root element. Inside that, I'm going to keep some items, menu item. You can see search item is there, switch item is there, sub menu you can create using another menu. Okay, all those things we will work a little bit later. Right now, let's keep it simple. I'm going to put one menu item inside this menu. Okay, when you do so, you see how the design will look like. Okay, you will have three dotted button and then the item comes here in your app right now. Okay, this is not your activity. This is just the menu. It is just a preview of how your menu will look like. Okay, this is not actually your app. Please remember that. Okay, so I've clicked on the item. Let me go to the properties. These are the common properties. You are supposed to only give these attributes. Number one, let me give an ID. I am going to name all my items, menu items with IT as the short form. Then I'll write this as add. I'll just put IT add, an item which is going to be adding. Okay, let me just do that. Title, if you want, you can give, I'll just say add contact. Okay, you'll come like this. But I don't want to show a word to the user. Rather, I want to show an icon to the user. That will be easy, right? So let me choose a second one. It's not compulsory to put an icon. Please note, most of you would have seen this. It's not compulsory to give an icon. Please note. The search is the search zoom or the magnifying glass is an icon. No text is there, but it is easily understood that this is going to search. But remaining, you see, words, no icons. Okay, so it's your choice whether you want to give a word or an icon. Word is compulsory. Okay, it's not compulsory as such, but then it is always recommended that you keep a word. Okay, and then icon, it's optional. If you want, you can keep it, but I am purposely keeping it because I have only one option. I'm going to choose an icon. Okay, I'm going to search for a icon called add. I didn't like this icon because it's green. I can't change it. I can't do much. So what I'll do, I'll add a new one. Let me click on plus. Please note here, add a resource to the module. Let me click on that and say image asset. You can also use a drawable resource, but I'm going to just choose image asset for my simplicity. Here, I'm going to choose the type of icon is going to be on the action bar. So let me just choose the action bar and clip art. Right now, this clip art they have kept. I'll click on this. I want to change a new clip art. Okay, let the icons be loaded here and I'll search for add. Okay, I'm going to add a contact, isn't it? So I can use this person add. Okay, I can use any icon, whichever I like. I'm going to add one person. So I'm going to choose from these icons, this icon of person add. I'm going to just click on OK. This will be the icon which will be coming there. I'm going to just click on next and click on finish. So I got one icon here. Let me just choose that and click on OK. Okay, but you see that icon is not visible in the design because you have not told it should be always visible. Icons do not come along with this one unless you programmatically put that. So I'm going to click on the next, the fourth attribute, show as action. I'm going to choose always and click on apply. There are other things also like with the text, if room, like that, a lot of things are there. I'm going to just make sure that it is in my program. I want it always. So you see on the top, this is how my icon should come like, that's all. Okay. Just because I created a menu, does it mean that it will come in my program? No, it won't. That attaching or the other word what I want to use is inflating. What do you mean by inflating? Most of you know that the tire in a car or in a cycle, when you are trying to fill air in that process, we call it as inflation, inflating the tire. Okay, that's because you keep gushing air into it. Okay, so that is called inflating. Inflating is making it bigger. Okay, so what we are going to do here is we are going to inflate this menu into my activity. How do I do it? Okay, so till this I hope you have you're clear what I'm doing here. Okay, I've created a new menu. I've added one menu item inside that, and I've given the name as IT add, title as add contact. It will not be shown to the user. Okay, and icon will be shown to the user because I said show it always. So it will only show the icon. This is my menu. Now all I need to do is attach this menu to your main activity. Okay, let me minimize all the methods so that my program looks small. Okay, all right, so now already there are 4 methods written. Okay, so divide your program, guys. As the program proceeds, it will become bigger and bigger. Okay, but you should not get confused. You should know what each and everything does here. Okay, now as soon as this thing is done, let me just write anywhere you can write, it doesn't matter. I'm just writing it here. Okay, I'm going to say on create options menu. Please note there's an inbuilt method called on create options menu. As soon as on create is done, what options menu would you like to show? Let me just press on enter. Look at the method. Okay, it says public boolean on create options menu and then it returns something to it. Okay, so can I write anything after this line? No. Why? Because return keyword is already written. So you cannot write anything after this line. It should be before that line. What do you want me to do in the on create of options menu? Inflate the menu which I created. Okay, so how do I do it? Very simple. You call get menu inflator. Get the menu inflator and then say inflate. That's it. Okay, I'm supposed to pass 2 parameters. Number 1, please note it looks for an integer, which is the menu resource. Second one is the option which is passed here, menu. I just need to map these 2. Okay, so how do I get an integer of the menu resource? Okay, just remember I told every resource in Android Studio or Android project will have a corresponding ID. So how do I get that ID? R. Please note, I didn't say android.r because this is an option which I created. So r.menu.options. So I want to say r.menu, which is in my project, dot. I have one menu called options menu, and that returns an integer. Second one is the menu object which is passed to you. So I'll just call that. That's it. Okay. Please note what I've done. I've just called the menu inflator and I told inflate the menu which I created in design with help of this menu class. That's all. Let me run the program now and check how my app looks like now. All I did is create one menu, and in this line, the code of the activity, I just added one line of code. Okay, this block of code, in other words. Let's see how my app looks like now. Okay, the app is running. Now, I hope you are able to see that there is a small icon at the top corner here. You can change the color, font and all those things. Okay, I'm just showing that there's an icon here. You can change it to white so that it comes neatly here. But anyway, you can see that there is a small button or a menu given there. Okay, that's called an options menu because I did not select any control. It's already there. Okay, so what is it supposed to do? It's supposed to add a new contact to my phone. Okay, so how do I make sure that this works when I click on it? Since I did not have it in design, I cannot do it in code also. So I have to create another way in which this option item getting selected. Okay, now I want you to figure out the keywords here, guys. Okay, number one, options menu. What is options menu? This XML file is the options menu. Okay, now what about this add button? What you see, that's not a menu, that's an item inside the menu. I hope you follow. This is a menu. The entire thing is a menu. So what you are clicking on is not a menu, it's an item in a menu. I hope this is followed. Okay, so let's say a drop down. Drop down list name is, let's say, DDL countries. Drop down list which will show countries. But when you choose India in that, that's an item in that list. India is not the drop down list. I hope you follow. India is an element, an item in that drop down list. You got this, right? So same thing here. Item, this is an item. So if you click on it, what should happen? For that also there is an inbuilt method. Let me just call that on options item selected. Please note the method name on options item selected. Just call that. Again, look at that method. What does it do? It returns. So which means you can't write code after this. You should write before that, and returns a boolean. So don't need to change that code what they have written. Don't write anything after return statement. It will not be reachable. Okay. Now, how am I supposed to know which option did you click on? Because in my program right now only one is there, but normally I'll be adding more options there, right? So how will I know which icon did you click on or which option did you click on? Please note the code here. It's very simple. It passes the item which was clicked on. When you select a particular item, it passes the item also to you. So all I need to do is I need to say if item, this what is passed to me here, dot get item ID. Very simple, is equal to r dot id dot it add. Please note that's the name of the item or the ID of the item which I added. If this is the button you have clicked on, do something. Okay, what am I supposed to do here? Please remember, you cannot add contacts to contacts app directly. You can only take them to the contacts app with some information. Most of you would have used Truecaller. When a call comes, let's say there's an unknown number and Truecaller says this is your friend's name, something it's coming. Okay, so and now you says, okay, this is my new number, save it. So when you click on save in Truecaller, where does Truecaller take you? Okay, Truecaller takes you back to contacts app with already information filled in. Okay, first I'm going to do a simple add information like how WhatsApp does it. Okay, and if for example a new person sends you a message in WhatsApp, you click on add contact. Okay, it takes you to the contacts app only. Only one help it does is it puts the number already there. Whoever has sent the SMS, then you just need to give a name and click on save. That's all. But that adding the contact is not done by WhatsApp. WhatsApp just takes you to the contacts app. Okay, so I also want to do the same thing. If I want to go from one app to another, you use an intent. So I'm going to create an intent. Let me just say I is equal to new intent. Okay, and this is not like it's not an implicit, sorry, it's not an explicit intent. This is an implicit implicit intent. Why? Is because you do not know which activity you are going to call. Okay, you're rather going to call the contract and show an activity. Okay, how it is shown in my phone need not be how it will be shown in your phone. Okay, so it's not an explicit intent, it's going to be an implicit intent. So I should also tell what type of intent it is. So I'm going to say intent dot, it's a insert action. You're going to do an action underscore insert. Okay, insert means it can be into a contact, it can be into the call log, it can be an SMS, whatever it is. So I'm going to also say set type. What type of data are you going to insert? Okay, for that I cannot directly tell. I should call the contract once again. Contract dot contacts. Okay, I'm going to call contacts, not common data kind. I'm not retrieving, I'm inserting. I'm going to say contact dot content type. The type of content which is there in the contacts app of my phone, insert that. Okay, that's all. Start activity with that intent object. That's it, is enough. Okay, but please note it will be a blank adding intent. Let me just show you what it is, then I'll show you a difference also. Let's run this program now and see how it works. Okay, right now when I click on it, nothing happens because I've not written. Right now, after this app is getting installed now, okay, and now when I click on that ad, okay, I told to take me to another activity which is based on the contacts app of your phone. Okay, whichever phone you are using. Look at this. I'm going to just tap on this ad. Okay, what happened? Okay, it opened the contact app of my phone, but not specifically the app alone. The adding new contact activity has been opened. Okay, and right now it's waiting for you to give the name and phone number and all those things. But when you normally come from Truecaller or from WhatsApp, if you're coming to this particular phone for this particular app of contact, the number will already be filled there, if you notice that. Okay, how do I fill that information already before going to the contacts app? It's very simple. When intent is, when you're using intent, how do you pass intent? Extra, put extra. I'll just say I dot put extra. We'll put the name. Okay, what is the name? Contacts contract. Again, you have to use that contract only for everything. Okay, in that one you have intents. In that intent you are going to insert which one? Name. Okay, if you want just to test, I'm doing this. Okay, I'm going to put my name there. Okay, and next one I'm also going to put a number. Okay, again contacts contract dot intents dot insert dot let's say phone. Okay, that's the name, and what will be the value? Let's give a value. Okay, some number. I've just given some number and then start activity. Now let me run the program once again and see what is the difference between the first time when I ran it and the second time I'm running it. Okay, now let me click on add. There's a small difference in the way in which my contact is written. Can you see that? First name, last name is split based on the space which is available. And the phone number what I passed is already filled. I just need to click on save. Okay, let me click on save. Okay, I've saved. A new contact has been saved. Let me just come back to my app. The new contact is also there. I hope you follow this, right? So we created a new contact, but I didn't use my app to add the contact. I used the contacts app. I just gave an intent from my app to their app. How did I give? I used a options menu. Okay, I hope now you have understood what is an options menu, guys. Okay, so now let's move on to the next step. Okay, I'll be using options menu, bottom navigation menu, all these things in the later classes. But you should understand what is the concept of a menu. That's my target here. Okay, so all I've done so far is a context menu. Okay, now sorry, a normal menu, options menu. Now I'm going to do the next one is contextual menu. Okay, so let me do a contextual menu. Before that, let me tell you how I'm going to use the contextual menu. Okay, when you long press on a particular contact, let's say for example, I want to call Charlie. I'm going to just long press on this item. Okay, I want two options coming here, call him or SMS him. Okay, I want two choices to come, but it is not for all the contacts. I want this contact alone. Then I should not use an options menu. I should use a context menu. Okay, so based on the context, I should get some menu. How do I do it? Let's do that first. First of all, you have to add a menu. So let me right click on the menu folder, add a new menu resource. This one I'll name it as context underscore menu. So let me continue. I've just added a new context menu. Okay, so here also I'm going to put menu, but I'm going to put two menu items, one for calling, one for SMS. So let me just drag and drop one menu item here and also one more menu item there. So I have two menu items here under that one menu. Can you see this? Okay, I have two menu items. Let me just name them appropriately. First menu item, I'm going to name it as IT, an item for calling. Okay. Second one, I'm going to put a title. Let me just say call. Let me just not show icon this time. Or let it be just words alone. Okay. And show as action, I'm going to say always. Click on apply. You see that the call comes here now. Okay. Now next thing what I'm going to do is the second item. I'm going to name it as IT SMS. Title, I'll just put SMS. No icons I'll be giving for that. I'll just use show as action always and click on OK. You can give icon. I'll do that later. But since last program I used icon, I'm using words now. Okay, then I can also change it to icon also. I'll show you shortly. Okay, so that's it. Now I have created a context menu, but bringing a context menu is a little bit challenging. It's not as easy as bringing an options menu. Okay, for that you need to make sure when to show a contextual menu. Normally we show the contextual menu when you select an icon or when you long press on a particular item. Okay, so please note in this, let's say for example in this program, if I long press on a particular thing, I want the menu to come here. So first of all, I should attach a listener to the list view itself, isn't it? So first let me do simple listening part to the list view, then I'll come to the menu part. Okay. So first what I'm going to do here is when you tap on a particular, not long press guys, please note there are two things. Most of you already know this. Everyone knows this. Okay. In your, let me just show it with an example of SMS itself. Okay. These are my messages. If I just tap on the message, what will happen? When I long press on, this is a list view by the way. I hope you can see this, right? This is the list view. It's a customized list view. Okay, basically this is a recycler view, but I'm just telling the word so that you can understand. This is a list view. Okay, it's a customized one, not just two lines. It has more information there. So you have to customize it. So when I tap on it, when I just tap on once, okay, what happens? Okay, this is click. Let me go back. Now I'm long pressing on it, something else happens. Please note the difference. One is item clicked. Okay, this is an item in the list view. When I click on it, what happens? When I long click on it, what happens? Two different things, guys. Please note both are not the same. Okay, so that let's see how we can implement that in our program. Let me go to main activity. And for this listener, by the way, what I'm about to do is attach a listener. And there are three ways I've discussed in class. Attaching it to the object itself, attaching it to the class, and then asking the object to listen to that class. Last one is attaching it to the design. For this particular program, I do not recommend the first and the third method. I recommend the second method, which is attaching it to the class and asking the object to listen to that class. Okay, let me show you how. I'm going to say, first I'm going to do single click, a simple item click. I want to show which user did you click on. Okay, in my program, what I want to do here is, okay, just see when you tap on this, I want to see you clicked on Fahad, you clicked on Charlie, like that. I want a toast to come. How do I write it? Okay, so first of all, you should say attach a listener, isn't it? So I'm going to say implements on. Please note the word, guys, very, very carefully. There is on click listener, there is on item click listener. Which one should I use? Okay, be very careful of this. This is one control. The list view, what you see here is one control. So what are these things? They are items in the control. Be very, very careful of this. Okay, so who am I looking for? I'm not looking whether you clicked on the list view. I want to see whether you clicked on an item in the list view. So what am I looking for? On item, click listener. Below that, you also see one more choice, item, long click listener. There are two things. So first, let me do the click. All right, so I just clicked on that and it automatically assumed some class. I want to fix that issue because you have implemented one interface. You have to implement its method also. Let me just click on OK. So first step is done. Attach the listener to the class. Second step is attach that object to that particular class. What is the object here? Contacts list view, which is there inside my program. Okay, let me also do that. Contacts list view dot set on item click listener to this class. That's it. Okay, so now whenever you click on a particular contact item in the list view, okay, this method will be triggered. On item click method, which was the implementation of that interface, will be triggered. What and all is passed? Position of the control which you have clicked on is passed. ID, in case it is there, will be passed. ID right now I'll not use. I'll focus on the position by which it is passed, because that's how I've stored it in the contact list. Please note, finally what we have attached is the array list. Okay, array list follows index as number only. Hash map follows it as string, but contact still follows a position. Okay, the index, in other words. So when the item is being clicked on, how do I know which item was clicked on? Okay, it's very simple. I'm going to just put a toast, and since no return type is expected, I'm just going to put a toast, guys. I'm going to put a toast saying that what is that? You clicked on whom? Okay, how do I get whom they clicked on? Before that, let me just create a string. I'll just say string name, okay, is equal to whose name did you click on? I want to find that. Okay, for that I'm going to call. I want you to understand this very important thing, is that the cursor is filled, because the cursor is globally available, as well as the list view is contacts is globally available, and it is locally assigned, but the context is already available. So I can directly call contacts, which is the array list dot get. Okay, I hope this is clear what I'm saying. Okay, I'm just trying to get the information or the position from where you have clicked on. The position is already passed. Please note, get takes an index. How will I get the index? Position is passed. I'll just call the position. Okay, in that one, what is there in that position? There is a hash map. Please note, array list contains one hash map. I don't want the hash map. I want the name. So I want the first thing inside that hash map. So I'm going to say get position dot. Okay, again I'm going to say get the key. Okay, please note, look at the parameter what I'm supposed to pass. I'm supposed to pass a key, and I'll get a string. Okay, what is the key? CNAME. If you remember that, that's the key what I gave. Okay, let me show you once again. That's the key I gave. I'm just calling the key from the contacts in that particular position. And then I'm printing you clicked on that particular name I'll get. That's it. Okay, let me run the program and check whether what I've done so far works properly. Then we'll go to the long press. Okay. All right, now you see that the app is running. All I need to do is just tap on a particular item, okay, or a particular contact. Let me just tap on this. I get a message saying you clicked on Daniel. Okay, how did I get the person's name? Because wherever you click on, that position is passed along with that method. And with that method, I got that particular contact, and I got his name alone from the key which is passed. Okay, so if you tap on a particular person, what happens? You get the person's name. Okay, who you clicked on. I'm getting click. Now what I want next is long click. Okay, let's do that also. Okay, so how do I make sure? The same way what we have done it. Okay, I'm going to just press comma, because it's an interface. You can implement many interfaces. So I'm going to call on item long click listener. Okay, again you have to apply or implement all the methods which are expected from that on item long click. Okay, I just do that, then I come back again. Second step is to add that also, ask this object also to listen to that. Set on item long click listener to this class. Done. Now my item or the contacts list view is also listening for long click. If you press on this icon for a long time, what do you want me to do? Okay, first of all, you see that already it returns false. Always remember, when a method is written and if it says returns false, okay, whatever you have written here within this particular code goes useless. Okay, so if you are not using the block of code, leave it as false. But in case you are using it, make it true. Then only you are telling that my program went successfully. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, I'm just writing it as a comment, guys, so that I understand what I want to do here is, I want you to get the phone number which you have long clicked. I'll write it in words, English, then I'll write it the code there. Okay, next one, show the context menu. These two things are supposed to be written here. Okay, please note that. First of all, get the phone number which you have long clicked. How do you get it? Very simple. Again, see, position is passed. Just like the click, long click also gets the position and the ID. Same thing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create the phone number, because to call or to send an SMS, I don't care which uh, name you have stored it as. I am focused on the number. I don't care about the name, because when I want to make a call or when I want to send an SMS, even though you are searching for the name, the phone doesn't care about the name. It looks for the number. That's important for me. So I'm going to say string phone number. But the problem is, when I give the phone number inside this method, it is not accessible anywhere outside. So I'm going to create it globally. Please note, I'm going to create it globally. I'll name it as string phone underscore number. It's not the same as the contact number. Contact, I pulled it from the contact database. Okay, but phone number, I'm going to fetch it where you have long clicked on. So here I'm going to say phone number is a string which is equal to contacts, that's the array list, dot get index. Do you know the index? Yes, because position is passed to me. Okay, then say dot get the key. What is the key? CPHNO, if you remember that. Okay, that's what I gave here. That's the key I'm looking for. Get the phone number. So that step is done. Second step is now a tricky one. Show the context menu. Is it so simple to show the context menu? No, it's not that simple to show a context menu. I'll tell you why. Because the context menu is attached to something called as the action mode. Okay, they are attached to something called as an action mode. And the second keyword you need to remember here is call back. Okay, when you long press on a particular menu in WhatsApp or in your messages, okay, a pop-up comes on top of that particular action bar itself, and then it has to go away, because that entire thing has its own life cycle, and that is called as a callback. Okay, so let me not complicate it. Let's write the code. How do you show the context menu? Okay, for that you have to create the context menu first, isn't it? So let's create a context menu by just going to the code again. I am going to attach one more interface to this. It is called as callback. Okay, look for a callback which comes from action mode. These two keywords come together, action mode, callback. Let me just press enter. So you'll get action mode dot callback. Okay, let me just implement all the methods which are required for that action mode. You will get 4 methods, guys. Please note that. Okay, you cannot skip even one method, because if you are implementing an interface, you have to implement all its methods. And none of these methods are, it's not like I'm going to use all the methods, but it is the rule, isn't it? If you are implementing an interface, I have to implement all its methods. So all are selected, just click on OK. Okay, so what have I done? I have just implemented a callback interface in my program. Is that enough? No. Let's go to the bottom of the code and see what and all got generated now. These are the things which generated: on create, on prepare, on action item click, on destroy, action mode. Okay, so when you are trying to call the action mode, okay, what do you want me to do? I want you to inflate a menu. I want you to show a contextual menu. Okay, so for that, I'm going to write the code here on create action mode. Okay, see here I am going to show the context menu, or I'm going to just say call action mode. That's the actual technical word. Simple words, you can just say show the context menu. Technically, it just means call the action mode. So as soon as you call the action mode here, this will be called. And what do you want to do here? I want to show the contextual menu. Okay, just like how I showed an options menu, I'm going to write get menu inflator dot inflate. What is the menu? R dot menu dot context menu. Second one, the menu class which is passed to you. Just pass that. That's it. Okay, but please note, just like I told in the previous code, if you write true, only then it will come. If you write false, whatever you wrote here goes unattended. Okay, it is thinking that whatever you have done is gone waste, so you are returning false. So obviously you should return true. Okay, are you doing anything in the prepare mode? No. So let it be return false. Don't touch that, because if you remove that, your interface will have a problem. So I'll just keep only one line I've written here. Show me the menu when you are creating the action mode. Okay, so now when you click on it, what will happen? You write here. I'll not write that now. Let me just go back and let's call the action mode. Only thing is simple word. Just say start action mode. That's all. Okay, and it expects the callback. Where is the callback attached to? Callback is attached to this class. Callback is implemented in this class. Okay, how do you point main activity? Just write the word this class. Done. That's all guys. Okay, there is a little bit more lengthier step, but I hope you follow what happened. When you long press on a particular item, you are fetching the number, but I've not passed it anywhere because it's globally kept. Okay, and then start action mode. So got the phone number and starting the action mode in this class. So what happens when you start the action mode? On create will be called. On create, what are you doing? Inflating the menu and showing the context menu. Let me show you what has happened so far. Then I'll do the implementation part of it. Okay. Can you see this, that the contacts app is ready? When I long press, no, I just tapped on it, I get the on item click. Now I'm going to long press on a particular control. Okay, both will get triggered, but please note, I want to see something change here. So let me just long press on a particular icon. Do you see something getting changed? Yes, because my menu went. Okay, the menu which was here went. This is the options menu. Okay, when I long pressed on a particular thing, I'm getting a contextual menu. Okay, this is context-based menu. Right now, when I click on call or SMS, I should be able to call this person whom I long pressed on. Okay, whether it is Daniel or Balaji or whoever it is. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. But now it is not responding. If you notice, for example, if I click on call, nothing happens. When I click on SMS, nothing happens. But I'm able to see the menu. I hope that is clear, right? So let's see how to do the remaining part also. When you click on the items which are there, the call or SMS, how do I react? Okay, here I'll write. Again, return false is written. Since I'm going to write the code, I'm going to change it to true. And then I'm going to write a small switch case. Why switch case? There are two items. So I'm going to say item.getItemID. Case r.id.it call do something. Case r.id.it SMS do something else. So two switch cases I've written. I hope this is clear. Okay, so when you click on any of the items in the contextual menu, okay, which item did you click on? Based on that, I'm supposed to perform something. Okay, so let's see, what am I supposed to perform? I'm supposed to make a call or supposed to send an SMS. You are not going to do the call or SMS from your app, okay, because you don't have permission for that. You have to send it to the contacts or the call app of the phone. So how do I do that? Okay, so either way you have to go from this activity to another activity. So I am going to create an intent. Sorry, just an intent. Okay, let me name it as I'll initialize it to null. Nothing will be there in the beginning. Okay, but after you have clicked on, based on whether you have clicked on call or SMS, I'll add or attach an appropriate object to that intent then I'll send start. Okay, so I'll just say I is equal to, if you have clicked on call, what do you want me to do? I wanted to create a new intent with the intent to dial. Okay, I want to dial this number. So I'm going to say intent dot action underscore dial. I'll look for the word called dial. I wanted to dial this number. Okay, so I cannot just like that say dial. I'll have to set the data. Okay, just like most of you have seen when you click on an email address in a website. Okay, just go to a website and you see an email address. When you move your mouse over that, you will find mail to colon that email address. Okay, what is that mail to doing there? The mail to is simply putting it as let's say open the default mail manager. Okay, and then send the email. I'm going to do the same thing. It's expecting a URI, so I'll just write URI.parse within double quotes. I'll write tell. Okay, this is the word. This is how you are supposed to make sure the system understands that it is a mobile number or a phone number. Okay, then pass the number. Where will I get the number from? Number already you have got it when you long pressed on a particular icon. Okay, the particular contact when you clicked on, I've already got the phone number. I'll just attach it here. Phone number. That's it. Same thing I'll write for SMS also. I is equal to new intent, but it is not an action to dial. Okay, but I'm rather trying to send something. So I'm going to say send to. Okay, send to a particular phone number. I'll pass the phone number. Same thing I'm going to do. Set data URI dot parse. This time not tell, it is SMS2 colon plus phone number. That's it. Okay, I've only created an intent, guys. Please note, if you click on any of the item, I'll be creating an object globally intent. Okay, when you click on call, I'm creating it for dialing. I'm setting the data as it is. And if it's calling for SMS, I'm setting that everything. Once you come out of the switch case, I'm going to say start activity with that intent. That's all. Okay, let me run the program and show you what has been happening so far. Then we will make what are the problems we are facing. Okay, let me see what is the issue. Okay, right now it will work, but it will not be an issue, but I'll show you, I'll point out an issue to you shortly. Okay, so right now I've written only this much. When you long press on a particular contact, you get two choices. Okay, so when you long press, you are calling, what have you done on long press? You have registered the phone number, you are starting the action mode. That's all. When you start the action mode, this method will be called. That's why you're seeing the menu here. Okay, when you click on them, what should happen? That's what I've written here. Let me click on call. Let's see what happens. What happens? It took that number which I selected to the call app of my phone. I just need to click on call and the call will go. Okay, that's what I've done so far with the call. Let's go to the next one. You see that the menu did not go. The menu is still there. That's a mistake. You're not supposed to keep it there. Once the user has clicked on it, it should go away. But it is still not gone. I'll tell you about it shortly. But let me click on SMS and check if it works. If I click on SMS, what will happen? Okay, it opens a chat with that particular person. Okay, whoever you have selected, that particular person, a conversation has been started. Okay, now you can type the SMS and send. That's all. Okay, but this is not my app. It is just pointing to my app. Okay, so let me go back. You see, there's still that context menu is there. So it's wrong, isn't it? So as soon as you click on it, I should make sure that this action mode goes away. How do I do it? Right now, I cannot do it because you have started it without any way to stop it. Okay, if you have mapped it to a variable, I can call the variable here after the start activity is done. I can map it, but you have not done it. So what should I do? I'll create a global variable called action mode. Okay, please note action mode. Let me name it as AM. Let me initialize it to null in the beginning. Okay, please note what I'm doing. I'm creating a global variable. Where am I setting it? As soon as this user has clicked on long click, I'm going to assign the value saying AM is equal to start action mode. Okay, so when will I close this action mode? Okay, I will just say before you start the activity, close this action mode, which means if you clicked on call or SMS, first close this this action mode, then you start the activity. Let me show you how it works. Okay, so now when the program runs, you see my app comes in. Okay, using the content provider of my the contacts app of the phone, I used content resolver to display all the contact details in a neat format here. Then I used options menu to show you a menu to add a contact to the phone. Okay, and then now I've also seen how to tap. When you tap on a particular control or a particular contact, how do I know which contact I've clicked on? And also when I long press on a particular contact, I'm able to see call or SMS. Okay, I can actually ignore it, continue with my program. Or when I click on call, okay, please note when I tap on call, it immediately goes to the call app. When I come back to my app now, okay, let me come back to my app. You see that the action mode is not there because it's been dismissed. You have finished that action mode, then only you started the next activity. Let me show it once again. I click on SMS. Okay, see, please note that it went away. The action mode went away, then the SMS opened. Now, when I go back to my activity, I don't see the action mode running because I closed it. Done. Okay, this is what I wanted you to understand. So, what and all we have discussed here is content provider, content resolver, okay, options menu, contextual options menu. Okay, and please note that action bar, this is called an app bar. Okay, I attach the option menu to the action bar. And what is coming there in black right now, what you see there is the contextual action bar. Okay, it is called the contextual action bar because it comes only based on a particular context. Okay, and then you get the contextual menu on the contextual action bar. Okay, these are the keywords and the concepts which I want you guys to understand. I hope this program will be easy for you to do. Okay, please try, look at the video, revise the program, and take each and every block separately so that it doesn't look too big for us. Okay, most of the code I did not type, the system generated. Even though it looks like a big code right now, it's around 150 lines of code it shows, but I did not type much. If you see that, my typing is very, very less. Okay, the system generates a lot of code for us so that it's easy for us to focus on the logic part of it. Last part I'll do for today is just changing that icon. Okay, I don't want the word as call and SMS. Let's change it into an icon. Okay, just choose the icon option. Look for icons which are already available, or you can create your own. I'm going to choose what is already available. You see that changed. Let me click on the second one and let me change the icon for SMS. I don't find SMS, but mail will be there. It's also looking like an SMS thing, right? So it's done. That's it. If you want icons, you can use icons. If you want words, you can use words. Okay, so menu, you should be able to play with the menus and understand how they work. It's very essential in the future classes. Okay, let me just show this and we'll stop for today. Okay, so now I have a icon as an option menu. Also, when I long press, I get two icons, one to call, one to send an SMS. Okay, so anyway, the working is still the same. Only thing I changed is the icon. Okay, that's it. So with this, I'll stop for today, guys. If you have any questions, please do ask.